when he takes off his shirt. The moment he shows his scars all over, the cop at the door is creeped out.
Holy shit, look at this. What the hell's he been into?
Who gives a shit? All right, put your hands on top of your head and turn around.
The man slowly turns with hands on his head. The young cop thinks he's no ordinary man, suggests turning him over to higher authorities, but the deputy sheriff beside him is reckless, swinging his baton and beating the man hard. What's more, they use cold high-pressure water to torture the man, watching the man suffer in misery. The old guy smirks and mocks. In their eyes, the man is no different from a weak homeless man, but they don't know they messed with the wrong tough guy. The man's name is Rambo, a veteran just retired from the Vietnam War. On the battlefield he was the nation's finest killing machine. Now he wanders looking for a job. On his way he passes a small town, wants to go in for a hot meal. Unexpectedly the town sheriff stops him. He dislikes Rambo's long hair and messy look, like a homeless man, instinctively thinks he's just a troublemaking drifter. To keep him from staying, the sheriff offers to give him a ride. On the way the sheriff keeps insulting Rambo, implying he's the kind who brings trouble to the town. Soon he drops Rambo off on the other side of the bridge far from town, and forces him out of the car. Finally warns him never to come back, or he'll arrest him for sure. Rambo is used to the world's ugliness. He stays silent. After the sheriff leaves, he looks around, feeling more lost and hesitant. Moments later, he still chooses to go back to town. The sheriff sees Rambo in the rearview mirror. Furious, he turns around and chases.
Let me see some ID. All right, you're under arrest. You hear me? Now put your hands on the car. Now you put your hands on the car and you spread them. Now you're gonna put your hands on that car. How you do it, you decide right now.
Rambo feels wronged, but to avoid trouble he puts his hands on the roof. The sheriff finds a military knife on him, though Rambo says it's for hunting. The sheriff arrests him for carrying a weapon, and takes him to the station. That sharp military knife becomes the sheriff's trophy. Rambo is taken to an interrogation room. The deputy sheriff arrogantly asks his name. Rambo's eyes go blank for a second, not out of fear, but the window in front brings back memories of torture. In a Vietnamese POW camp, a young officer tries to take his dog tags.
Hey, you got 3 seconds before I break your face in.
Rambo knows he must swallow his pride, and lets them take his tags. The deputy learns he's a Vietnam vet, but at that time, anti-war sentiment is high across the US. The government started the war for politics, leaving ordinary people to suffer the cost. Even war heroes who fought for the country get no respect, especially those in power in town. Rambo, being a soldier, challenges the deputy's authority. He throws Rambo into a cell, beats him badly, and hoses him down with cold water. The deputy holds him down, orders his men to shave his head. As Rambo struggles, he grows terrified. The sharp razor brings back painful memories of the POW camp. He can't hold back his anger anymore.
You son of a bitch! Come
The sheriff hears the noise and runs down. Rambo jumps up and kicks him hard. Another officer charging in gets knocked down by Rambo's foot. Then he grabs his knife, rushes out of the police station. None of the spoiled officers can stop him. Rambo doesn't let his guard down. He pulls a man off a motorcycle, speeds away. The deputy runs out with a gun, aims at Rambo to fire, but the sheriff stops him in time, not to protect Rambo, but to avoid hurting innocent people. Over a homeless man, the sheriff is ruthless too. He chases in his police car. The chase leads them away from town. Original scene. The sheriff floors it to catch up. Original scene. Seeing he won't give up, Rambo turns onto a gravel road, hoping the rough terrain will shake the sheriff off, but the sheriff refuses to quit. Rambo rides into thick woods, using his off-road bike to escape the chase. The police car is blocked outside the woods. The sheriff quickly calls for backup on the radio. After telling them Rambo's direction, he crashes through a fence and continues. Rambo just exits the muddy trail when the sheriff cuts him off. Rambo glances back at the car, speeds over a broken hill to escape. The sheriff can't brake in time, crashes down the slope. Rambo rides away fast, but the path ends ahead. He crashes on the smooth rock slope. Seeing the sheriff chasing on foot, he gets up and runs into the woods. Using his great physical strength, he vanishes into the forest. With Rambo gone, the sheriff flies into a rage, shouts threats at him, vowing to make him pay dearly. Rambo hides in an abandoned mine. Winter cold drops his temperature fast. He gathers supplies around the mine, finds a ragged piece of cloth, cuts it with his knife, makes a simple thin shirt, then climbs further up the mountain to get away. Meanwhile, the sheriff's backup arrives, armed with guns, men and dogs. The sheriff believes they'll catch Rambo easily, but he doesn't know they're facing a battle-hardened Vietnam vet. vet. Rambo loses his way a little. He takes a compass from his knife handle. He must know his position at all times. Suddenly dogs bark from below. The cops are closing in. Rambo doesn't stop for a second. Climbs toward the top. When he reaches the peak, he finds a sheer cliff ahead. The danger frustrates Rambo. Worse still, the sheriff and his men are here. In a panic, he grits his teeth, climbs down the steep cliff. The high cliff looms like a monster, ready to swallow him. He almost falls several times, but Rambo's strong arms hold on to the rock. Every minute brings more danger. To make it worse, a helicopter flies over the valley. The deputy sheriff is inside. Rambo humiliated him at the station. This is his chance for revenge. Rambo sees the helicopter closing in. Panicked, he looks for a way out. The deputy raises a sniper rifle, but wind in the valley shakes the helicopter. The first shot misses. Rambo knows he's in danger. As the deputy aims again, he jumps off the cliff. Thick trees below cushion his fall, but thick branches nearly break his waist. He screams in terrible pain. When he lands, a deep gash on his arm causes great suffering, but the deputy doesn't quit. Keeps firing at him. Rambo, hiding behind a tree, can't understand. He only wanted a hot meal. Why are they so cruel? He picks up a rock while the deputy reloads, throws it at the helicopter. The pilot dodges, making the aircraft unstable. The deputy falls out. The pilot leaves quickly. Rambo checks on him. The deputy is dead. He got what he deserved. Rambo takes his gun and clothes, leaves fast. The sheriff and his men reach the cliff. He sees the deputy below through binoculars, clearly dead. He finally realizes he messed with the wrong man. Rambo hides behind a boulder, takes thread and a needle from his knife, sews up his arm wound. After treating it simply, he walks out voluntarily to make peace with the sheriff. He wants it all to end. Someone is already dead. He doesn't want more injuries, but the sheriff suddenly shoots him. The bullet grazes his scalp. Other officers open fire. Rambo has no choice but to run. The sheriff calls another helicopter, but receives Rambo's file from the station. It says Rambo is not just a Vietnam vet, but a Green Beret, awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, a true war hero. The sheriff hesitates briefly, but still orders the manhunt to continue. An officer suggests handing it over to state police. This angers the already furious sheriff. He drags the officer to the deputy's body, shouts he'll avenge him, vows to catch Rambo, nail his medal to his heart. But he doesn't know. Rambo is already preparing for the coming fight. He sharpens branches, waiting for his enemies to come. The sheriff's team searches with hunting dogs. Thunder crashes in the dark woods. Death fills the air. When lightning lights the forest, a hunter sees movement in the trees. 3 dogs start barking loudly. 2 dogs charge at the figure. 2 gunshots ring out in the woods. The dogs don't come back. The lead hunter is shot and falls. Officers drop to the ground, firing their rifles wildly, releasing their fear. When lightning strikes again, they see the figure is just a dummy made of cloth. The wounded hunter releases the last dog to avenge him, but in the stormy woods, the hunter hears the dog's painful cry. The tricky sheriff hears no shots, thinks Rambo is out of bullets, leads his men forward, but he makes a mistake, splitting his men up to search, playing right into Rambo's hands. A young officer searches carefully, not knowing Rambo hides right below him. Officers rush to help when they hear cries, but Rambo drops down and tackles him, breaks his arm with one punch, then hides again. Rambo doesn't kill them. Another officer arrives. Rambo appears in a flash of lightning. The officer fires, but hits his own man. Thinking he got Rambo, he runs over excited.
Got it! Somebody help me! Help me, Will!
The sheriff hurries to help, not knowing the officer behind is captured. When the sheriff finds the trapped officer and pulls a wooden spike from his thigh, he remembers the man behind him, but when he searches, the officer is tied to a tree. As he moves to help, Rambo ambushes him from hiding, holds him at knife point.
Could have killed them all. I could have killed you. Didn't tell you the law. Now here it's me.
Rambo warns him not to push further, let it all end, or he'll know the pain of war. The sheriff sits on the ground crying, but he refuses to stop. The next day, he sets up a command post outside the woods, calls in state police and National Guard. Ambulances take away injured officers. News spreads across the country of a veteran rampaging a police station, killing a deputy, but no one cares how he was abused. If not for the sheriff's cruelty and the deputy's torture, Rambo would never have fought back. The sheriff as a witness makes it worse, spiraling the situation out of control. To stop it from escalating, the Defense Department sends a colonel to end the conflict. He is Rambo's old commander, the one who trained him into a warrior. Learning only one cop is dead, the colonel finds it strange, because Rambo once left no survivors. To end the crisis fast, the colonel suggests letting Rambo go. Let him leave the woods, then intercept him, or more officers will die.
Are you telling me that 200 men against your boy is a no-win situation for us?
If you send that many, don't forget one thing.
What?
A good supply of body bags.
The sheriff breaks into a cold sweat, but still refuses to give up. Tells the colonel to radio Rambo, since Rambo has a radio. If he speaks, they can trace him. The colonel doesn't care. He knows with Rambo's skill, more men just mean more deaths. The colonel uses a military roll call to call Rambo on the radio. Rambo rests in a cave.
Copy, they're calling Raven.
The words throw him back to Vietnam. After a moment's hesitation, Rambo answers.
They're all gone, sir.
It's him. Get on it. Rambo, are you all right? Over.
Baker team, they're all dead, sir.
The colonel doesn't know how to comfort him, only talks about their brothers in arms, trying to use their bond to persuade Rambo to surrender. The colonel promises a fair trial. Rambo trusts the colonel, but not the world. He only wanted a hot meal, yet targeted by the sheriff. Without him none of this would happen.
Take your first blood.
After speaking, Rambo turns off the radio. Technicians locate Rambo's position. The sheriff threatens. At dawn he'll send everyone in. Use maximum firepower to take him. By now, the colonel can only pray Rambo spares lives. Early next morning, National Guard troops enter the valley. Seen by Rambo hiding near the river, he runs fast toward the cave, but soldiers spot him.
Raymond?
What?
I want you to go into that mine.
Oh, not me.
What do you mean, not me?
Look, I do this part-time. I didn't come here to get killed. Now, he's probably in there just waiting for us. What's wrong with you, Clinton?
The captain takes a rocket launcher, ready to blow up the mine with Rambo inside.
Yeah! Give that man a cigar! Bullseye!
Soon the sheriff and colonel arrive by helicopter. Everyone thinks Rambo is dead. Only the colonel smiles. He knew this would happen. He knows Rambo better than anyone. And just as the colonel thought, Rambo survives inside the mine. He lights cloth on his knife, finds half a can of fuel, takes off his coat, tears it into strips, dips them in fuel for a torch, uses the torch to find an exit. He finds a shaft leading out. Rambo now wants revenge. Outside the mine, Rambo sees troops leaving. He jumps onto the last truck, takes control of the cab, learning it's full of weapons. He throws the driver out, drives straight for the town to make the police pay. The thrown driver runs into a police car. The station learns Rambo is alive. The sheriff orders roadblocks on the bridge to stop him. But Rambo now is no longer a drifter wanting a hot meal, no longer a fugitive hiding in woods. He becomes the killing machine the colonel spoke of. Rambo drives into a gas station, crashes the tanks to spill gas, takes a heavy machine gun from the truck, sets fire to the station, and the rest of the weapons. A huge explosion erupts. The station bursts into flames. Cops at the station hear the blast, rush to help. The sheriff knows Rambo is after him. He takes a gun and hides on the roof, waiting to ambush. Rambo arrives outside the station, shoots the power box to cut electricity, plunging the town into darkness. But he doesn't attack yet. Breaks into a gun store, piles bullets and gunpowder on the floor, lays a fuse with powder. Massive explosion destroys the gun store completely. The sheriff watches from the corner. Unknowing Rambo already sees him. Rambo sneaks behind the station, fires the machine gun at the building, releasing days of anger. The sheriff on the roof is terrified. Only now does he realize the homeless man he mocked can destroy the whole town. When the shooting stops, the sheriff moves quickly, aims at the skylight, thinking if Rambo enters, he can kill him. But a warrior like Rambo is not that careless. The sheriff is shot and falls. Rambo stands before him ready to fire. The colonel appears and stops him. Killing the sheriff will ruin his life forever. Cops surround the building, but Rambo isn't scared. He checks his weapons, eyes full of killing intent. The colonel looks out the window, sees over 200 officers. He knows even Rambo, if he fights, will be shot dead.
Is that what you want? It's over, Johnny. It's over!
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
Rambo finally breaks down, pouring out his anger. He fought and died for his country, yet comes home to be rejected. On the battlefield he controlled planes and tanks. Back home he can't even get a car wash job, or even a hot meal. This fearless warrior now acts like a lost child. He talks about the humiliation at the airport. Anti-war people spit on him, call him a baby killer. His roar is full of pain and confusion. We love our country. It should love us too. Words that speak for all Vietnam vets. Rambo's accusation is not just at this small-town sheriff, but the whole system. A country that sent them to war, then refused to take them back. The colonel listens quietly, not interrupting. He knows this is the first time in years Rambo speaks his pain. Finally Rambo breaks down, cries bitter tears. This tough warrior hugs his only family, crying like a child. At the end of the story, the colonel leads him out of the station. He surrenders to the police. This one-man war against the system finally comes to an end.